Hi, FlossTube. My name is Grace. I'm the Paisley Stitcher here on FlossTube as well as on Instagram. And today is FlossTuber for a day. I think this is FlossTube episode 13. I'm not absolutely positive, but I am thrilled today to welcome Kathy Decker as our FlossTuber of the day. Welcome, Kathy.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
I'm thrilled. Kathy is, and I apologize, I don't quilt, but I know Kathy is a fabulous quilter just by what I've seen on your Instagram. Your Instagram is T Creek Quilts. Did I get that right?
Yeah. The T stands for troublesome because I grew up near Troublesome Creek, but I didn't want to write all that out every time I did a Gmail or anything. So it's just T.
I thought, were you troublesome in your younger years?
Maybe.
Or are you troublesome now?
Maybe. If I ever do have a floss tube, it'll be the troublesome quilter probably, or the troublesome stitcher.
That's a great name.
Yeah.
It's a great name. And I see tons of beautiful cross stitch behind you. We'll get to that, but I always want to know, how did you get started stitching?
Well, I got started stitching my grandma mostly. I spent a lot of time with my grandmother when I was young. She just lived down the road from us about half a mile or so. And we were out in the country on a gravel road, so I could ride my bike over there whenever I wanted. And she was always home because she didn't drive. So I was there all the time. So she taught me how to embroider and quilt and knit and crochet. Her only failure was tatting. We never could quite get tatting down.
Tatting's a lost art, I think.
Yeah, everything else she pretty much taught me. And then my mom was a seamstress, so I kind of learned from her a lot about sewing. But here's a picture of Grandma.
Oh, where?
She's the young one. That one. They look like a happy bunch, don't they?
I know, people didn't smile for pictures then.
Yeah, and here's her wedding day.
Oh, beautiful. Move it. Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Oh, beautiful.
So I spent a lot of time with Grandma, and she taught me how to do all the, farm lady stuff like cooking and quilting and embroidery.
Canning and jarring, canning.
We canned a lot of pickled beets, which my family thinks is just horrendous, but I love pickled beets.
Oh, they're great. Love them. They're good on a salad. Right.
Yeah.
Do you have the first thing you've stitched?
I don't have the very first thing, but I have an early thing. This was an embroidery thing. Doesn't this just scream late 60s, early 70s? It's a dresser scarf, like everybody uses all the time now. But butterflies on both ends. So that was one of my early endeavors. And that's just regular cross stitch, just stem stitch, or not cross stitch, just embroidery. And then I did a lot of, when I was a kid, those roller paints. Did you ever have any of those? They're like tubes of paint and they're ballpoint on the end.
Oh, yes.
So you can paint things. So I painted this little apron, and I think my mom must have made the apron because I doubt I would have done this. I don't think I had the skills. And we got a Singer Touch and Sew. So she used all those fancy stitches that we were so proud of back in the day.
Yeah. So I love that you still have that.
Yeah. It's a little raggedy around the edges, kind of like me, but that's okay.
Did you wear it as a little girl?
I must have. It's pretty worn out in the center and it's got a lot of stains on it. So this must have been my apron. I really don't remember it. I remember doing these paints all the time. I love those paints. Really? And I think you can still get those. I looked them up. Yeah. I think Aunt Martha's. Isn't that the embroidery place? Aunt Martha's?
I don't know. But you can still get them.
Yeah.
That's one thing I never did. My parents must have recognized early on that I like to do crafts. And I can remember getting a kit monthly of different crafts.
Oh, I did that too.
Wood burning. One was wood burning.
Yeah. I got that too as a kid. It was like a monthly craft subscription, and you got a box of like foam and plastic flowers and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, my stuff never came out like the picture did.
Well, yeah, but it was training us for now. Then I don't know really when I switched to counted cross stitch, whenever it kind of came out. When did it start?
I don't know. I learned like 1983. It must have been out in the 70s, right?
Maybe. I didn't know about it then. I think I started in the 80s. This is one of my early endeavors. And now when I look at it now, it's kind of like, really? But, you know,
Why?
I did it at the time. Well, my stitches are all going every which way. I don't know.
Part of your journey.
It's okay, but it's not the quality that it should be. But, you know, I was starting.
It was your first one. I hope you hang that up in your home.
I do.
Okay, good.
And
I just recently started doing that, Kathy. I had a whole box of framed cross stitch that I did in the 80s and 90s. And I thought, why are they still in a box? And I hung them up in another room. And I'm thrilled to see them because it's my story.
Yeah, some of my early stuff has been in a box, and I've recently gotten it back out because it's like, well, it's kind of neat. You know, it kind of goes in and out of style, I think. You know, it was in, and then for a long time I didn't want to hang it, and now I'm back at it again. This was an early one, back when we were all doing the geese and the
precious moments.
Yeah, so this was from my son's room, you know, and it's cute, but what am I going to do with it now, you know?
It's so cute.
Yeah, I always liked this one.
Yeah.
And I don't know who.
Are you telling me the geese and the bunnies and the geese and the teddy bears are going to come back in?
Maybe. And then this one was an early one I did. This was in Cross Stitch and Country Crafts in December of '92. And it's called Noah's Ark. And I have such a vivid memory of working on this. I was pregnant with my second child, and I had a fever, and I was up in the middle of the night worrying and, you know, being sick and everything. And I was stitching those turtles. You see the turtles, they have all kinds of worries stitched right into them.
Isn't that amazing? You remember exactly where you were.
But that makes sense. This was in the December '92 issue. He was born in '93. So, you know, I'm sure I started working on it right away. So this is kind of one of my favorites. I really like this one. And I don't know if it's available anymore except in the old magazines.
What's in each corner? I see the sun.
There's the sun up there.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's the wind.
The wind, yeah. And then the rainbow in the bottom.
Yep.
Well, figuring out where the camera is.
I know. And then a thunderstorm.
The rain on the, the rain on the ocean.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a lot of backstitch. You know, that's what we did back then. So
we did. We sure did.
So that brings
my coffee while we visit.
Okay, that's fine. That brings me to the oldest unfinished whip. You asked for that.
Yeah.
Okay. This is sort of embarrassing.
Don't be. Oh, yours has got tape on it too.
It has tape on it, and it's a marriage sampler. So apparently in the last 40 years, there has not been 1 hour where I could have finished this into something, right? Yeah, the tape's all cracked. But you know, that makes me feel better because, you know, you always hear don't put tape on it because it'll ruin it and everything. Well, it's been this way for decades now. So now that I've got this out, I think I'll finish it. Because it just is framed. I don't even know who this is. It looks like maybe Lizzie Kate or something like that.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
So that's one of my oldest whips.
I love it.
Another oldest whip is this, and this is a lavender and lace, I believe. It's called Guardian Angel. Oh, it's supposed to look like that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, beautiful. Is there beading on it too?
No, but there's a lot of, that horrible metallic thread.
Oh, yeah.
So I started her when my son was little, and I know why I put it away. It has all the colors. It's all DMC, but it's all those colors of green, 501, 502, 503, 504. And they were so hard to tell apart. And I just kind of gave up. But now, you know, looking at it now, it's like, yeah, this is a piece of cake.
You have a little bit more experience.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I'll pick that back up and finish it. And the other thing I found when I was looking for whips is had this kit, Winnie the Pooh. My younger son was a big Winnie the Pooh fan. But I have very little started on that. So I could scrap the Ada and put it on linen now, and I ought to just make it. It's just cute as can be, even though it's all back.
Oh, so
back
cute.
stitch.
Lots of back stitching, of course.
Yeah, but how cute is that?
I did Disney characters for my son's room.
Uh-huh.
And that's a lot of what I hung up in the other room. I offered them to him. He's like, no, thanks.
Yeah. I haven't even offered this stuff to my kids. They get it when I'm gone.
Right.
then I won't know, and that'll probably be better for everybody.
It's better we don't know what they do with them.
Exactly. So that was like 92, 93 when I was doing that. And then I decided to make these Christmas stockings. And these were out of the Cross Stitch and Country Crafts magazine. And I didn't know you couldn't do them on Ada because, you know, they've got all these half stitches and quarter stitches and everything. So my first one's on Ada because I didn't know any better. So this is my husband's stocking.
Wow, the level of detail.
I know these are very detailed, but I love them.
Oh,
so I did his on Ada, and then I wised up and figured, okay.
Can I see the back? Can I see how you finished
it? Yeah, the back is just red velvet.
Okay. That's beautiful.
And then it's got this piping on the edge, which is really dates it to the 90s, but you know what? That's okay.
That's okay. I'm sure you do all your own finishing, right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, except for some framing. I take framing out, but mostly I finish. Yeah. Then this one is mine.
Oh.
And this is the gardener's stocking. It has a ton of, I mean, they all have a ton of detail. These took me most of a year to make.
I was going to ask you, so did one take you about a year?
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mom,
pieces.
Yeah, my mom was always with us at Christmas, so I made one for her. And this is the the needleworker stocking. Got to get it in the right. I love this one the best, I think. The shape on it.
The braided rug.
Uh-huh.
And a little
I got kind of a weird toe shape on this, but you know, it's art. It's not they're not all exact. And then my oldest son, this is his.
You really did one for everybody in your family.
I did, yeah.
You didn't run out of steam doing them.
I'm still at it, actually. And then this is my younger son's.
Uh-huh. Those are fabulous.
And then when my older son got married, I finally got to make the girl one. I love this one with the little pram and everything in it.
Yes.
The little tea party there in the bottom.
I know. It's so cute.
I love these. And then my younger son's not married yet, but I figured I better get one at least mostly done so that I'm ready. So
without the name.
Without the name. And he's been instructed that he can only date girls with nine letters or less for names. So this is the music one.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that window.
Yeah. So this will be finished hopefully someday. And if he falls in love with somebody named Alexandrina, I got a problem because we're limited to 9 letters here. So those are my favorite things that I've stitched.
Oh, those stockings. I love getting them
for Christmas. Yeah.
So do you hang them up? Do you have a fireplace?
Yep. I hang them across the fireplace, and I get them out first thing, you know, like right after Thanksgiving, and leave them up till New Year's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All that work, and what memories it's going to have for your sons.
Yeah.
You know, and their future children. I mean.
Yeah. There's still two patterns I think that I haven't done. There's one that's a fireplace and one that's a stove or something. So I've got two more I could do, and I've got the patterns for them, and those are still available at Cooler Design Studio.
Okay.
They were in Cross Stitch and Country Crafts back, in the 90s. But Cooler Design Studio has all the stocking patterns now. So if people still wanted to do them, they could. They're a lot of work. I won't lie.
But they're so worth it, aren't they?
A ton of back stitching and a ton of quarter stitches and 3/4 stitches. But that's what makes all the level of detail that you can see and and all the little toys and things. You've really got to have that
Does the kit tell you how excuse me, does the kit from Kohler tell you how to finish it? Is it a kit? Is it a pattern?
I don't know. I think it's just a pattern. No, I don't think they probably tell you how to finish them, but you can find a stocking finishing pattern. Really, it's just cut it out, put the wrong sides together and sew around it.
Leave one side open.
Yeah, leave an opening. I usually leave an opening down, like down here in the
I see.
Toe, down in here, and then you can close that and then tuck that all back in, and then you don't see your opening.
Yeah.
So they're not too bad.
Those are beautiful. I haven't done anything like that.
Well, I don't have much of this red velvet left, so I've kind of got to draw this whole project to a close after this last stocking, I think. And then if I want to do more sometime, I'll have to start with something else. I've seen a lot of people do those shepherd's bush stockings though, and those are really neat. So
yeah,
maybe
the
for
next your grandchildren,
maybe they'll get shepherd's bush things.
Yeah, for the next generation.
That's right.
Yeah, those are fabulous.
Oh, thanks. So the next thing I wanted to talk about, I used to go to Country Thread or Country Sampler had a retreat in the summer called Grand Old Flag. And I went to those for, I think, 6 years or so. And they were a little different than their retreats now. They were quilting and cross stitch. So we would go and they'd have several teachers, and we would go and we would cross stitch for a day, and then we would quilt for a day, and then we cross stitch for the next day, and then we quilt for the next day. And you came home with a lot of different projects.
Nice.
So it was so fun. It was a smaller group. It was back in that schoolhouse that's behind Country Sampler.
I haven't been there yet. It's on my bucket list.
You got to go there sometime. That schoolhouse is really neat, but it doesn't hold, a ton of people. It holds 30, okay, but they've moved it now, and have a bigger group and have it at a different location. But back then it was in the schoolhouse. So I went to those for a number of years, and I always tried to, when I went to a retreat, tried to finish the retreat piece before the next retreat. And that worked okay until recently, when I've been going to numerous retreats in a year. And, like at Attic Symposium or we got like 8 things, plus all these little smalls that Mary Cox did. So there's no way I'm going to get them all.
You're going to get those done by January?
Yeah, I'll try to get one done before the next retreat or whatever. So at Grand Old Flag retreats, the cross stitch designer was usually Chessie and me, and one year was Stacy Nash. So most of the things that I have from this are from Chessie and me, and they're all kind of patriotic themed because it was in the summer and it was called Grand Old Flag. Okay, so This is Lincoln Home 1860.
Oh,
if I can get that without a ton of glare.
Oh, I love the eagle on top of the house and the flag.
Yeah.
I love the house.
Chessie and me is so talented on her designing. I love her patterns, partly because she usually has some specialty stitches. Like, I don't know if you can see on the underneath the house, I think that's rice stitch maybe.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And so satin stitch, are the stairs in satin stitch?
Yes. Yeah, she usually throws a little satin stitch in there.
It has a really nice effect.
It does, yeah. It makes a good, foundation and steps and things like that. So that was Lincoln Home 1860. She did a series kind of houses that are around here in Illinois and Wisconsin. And this one's called Gettysburg 1862 Sampler.
Oh, that's a great one too.
And this one, let's see the specialty stitches. Well, there's a whole bunch of
She typically does specialty stitches in many of her
usually
patterns.
just one or two. There's a lot of over one on this, and then there's some satin stitch in the house.
Yeah.
And that kind of makes a neat effect, doesn't it, with the house? You know, changes the bricks a little.
It does.
So that's Gettysburg 1862. I noticed we have a horse in all of these too. I hadn't really noticed that before. And this is Tallman House 1864.
Wow. These are fabulous. When did these come out?
Well, it would have been between 2010 and 2019 at some point. Yeah. Country Sampler still has a lot of them. I don't know if they have all of them, but
your frame is perfect for that piece.
Well, thanks. Too. I got these framed. I used to have a little framer over at a Ben Franklin, and amazingly enough, I got the same frame on all 5 of these, even though I did them one a year for 5 years, and they still had the same frame type. So I had them all framed the same.
It's perfect for that.
This one is Grant House 1865.
Oh, I really like that house.
Another eagle. We liked our eagles.
We do. That is fabulous.
Yeah.
What specialty stitches did you do on that one?
I don't see any. Maybe she gave us a year off. Oh no, all those shutters are satin stitched.
Oh yes. That? Yes, the blue.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's a really nice effect.
Yeah, it is. And then the last one I had is called Grant House 1865. Let me see the specialties. Oh, a whole bunch more satin stitch on the roof.
There's the horse.
Yep. So that's Grant House 1865. And I know that one's still available.
So do you have those hung together on the same wall?
Yeah. I kind of have a patriotic bedroom because I have, since we did this in the summer every year, I have a lot of patriotic stuff. Let me show you some of the quilts. The quilt designer was usually either Carol Hopkins, who does Civil War quilts, or Paula Barnes, who does red crinoline quilts. And hers are all reproduction things, fabrics too. So this is one. We always did like a wall hanging size, just a small one, and then usually like a lap quilt or something too. I don't know the names of these.
And you did these at Country Sampler?
Yep. They gave us, of course, they did the kits, and the kits were wonderful. They were all, fixed up like they do, tied up in a ribbon and the whole bit. You didn't even want to take the kit apart.
Right.
The project apart. So pretty.
Yeah.
And this one, I like this one a lot.
Oh, I love that one.
Usually get that one out for 4th of July. And then my favorite one that we did, and this was a bit challenging for all of us, this was a Carol Hopkins quilt. Wow. And it had a lot of little pieces in it.
Yeah.
But it's one of my favorites.
It's so pretty. Wow.
And then those samplers I showed you were what we did for our big cross stitch project. And then we also did smaller cross stitch projects like needle books. And this is Flag of Glory needle book. Oh, God. And this one has a ton of specialty stitches.
Oh, every row does.
Every row on the flag is a different specialty stitch.
Do you remember? I see Algerian eyelets and rice stitch. What else is in there?
Yeah, eyelets, and there's that one rice stitch is the one that's a big X with the other 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, she's got if you can see,
Yeah.
there's a, we did satin stitches that go different directions to make a pattern.
Oh, yeah,
Can you see that?
I can.
Yeah.
And
I
then
don't,
around the edging, what stitch is that?
oh, here,
Yes,
that's just cross stitches. And then we whip stitched wool to it.
I see.
Then it's got on the back too. And then the inside. I mean, she made us work.
I know, but look how fabulous it is.
Yeah. And I really do use these needle cases a lot. And then with that one, we had a little pin cushion thingy that went with it, and also a scissor fob.
That's fabulous.
I've used this one so much, it's kind of getting frayed. We did a lot of nun stitch in these classes because all these scissor fobs have to be nun stitched on the edge before you put them together. Have you done nun stitch?
I have not. Is it difficult?
It's not hard, but it's kind of tedious, I think, but it sure works great.
Yeah. I love that you've made these beautiful things and you're using them.
Yeah, I am. So that was called Flag of Glory Needle Book. I don't have actually real patterns. Back when we were doing this, she just gave us a picture and the pattern. We didn't have, it wasn't a printed thing. It's probably printed by now.
Yeah.
And this is one, and I'm not sure of the name of this one. I think I may have just made this one on my own. I don't know if this was a retreat piece or not. And it's got those little over one cats on it.
I know, I love the cats.
Well, Chessie and me, I don't know if you know her. Chessie is the cat.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
That's her first cat that she had when she started her business. So these are Chessie, I guess.
Oh.
And then the next one is called Quaker Housewife.
Oh no.
That was 1 year.
That is amazing.
Yeah, I love this one.
Wow.
And then the inside, we kind of personalized with our needle sizes that we wanted.
What?
And then it's got this is a little pocket. And then we made a little fob to go with that. And she gave us some little scissors to hang on the fob.
So did you do your stitching before the class?
No.
Was the class? No, so the class wasn't just about finishing it.
No, we didn't do any finishing in the class, but her finishing was very simple on these. You just did a back stitch around the edge, kind of like people are doing with the Biscornus now. You do a back stitch around the edge and then just, with wool, you don't have to turn the edge under. It doesn't fray. Have you used wool very much?
I have not.
Wool is a really nice fiber to use for stuff like this because you can cut the edge, it doesn't fray, and then you can just whip stitch the back stitch to the edge of the wool.
Nice.
So it's a good way to finish things. Let's see what else. Oh,
you have made some beautiful things.
I love these retreats. This is called a Gentlewoman Stitch Box.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's see what my Gentlewoman has in here. So we made this box and we lined it and we put country sampler tape on it and everything. So these are like to tuck things under.
Uh-huh.
And then here's the stitch book that went with it. And another needle roll.
That is fabulous. You are inspiring me to get out my retreat kits and work on them.
And then a little fob with a flag on it to go with that.
Oh, I love that.
And we always put a quarter in our fobs.
Why is that?
Just for weight. It needs something heavy in it. They're just stuffed with stuffing, like polyfill. And they'd be really light otherwise. So we put a quarter in each of them. And that way we can make a phone call if we ever need a payphone, right? That shows my age.
My mother always said when I was going out, do you have a dime for the payphone in case you need to call me?
Well, if I have to, I can rip open my key fob and my scissor fob and I'll have a quarter.
Good luck finding a payphone.
This was one of my favorite ones that we did. It was called Patriotic Stitch Book. And it's in a little paper mache box.
Yeah.
So that's the top of the box. And this little devil is a lot. Well, maybe he's not over 1. I thought he was over 1, but I guess not. Only the letters are over 1.
I love
But
that
he's got a
idea.
lot of satin stitch there in the bottom.
And so did you place it on wool?
Yes.
Okay.
That's just a piece of wool with the edges pinked.
Yep. And then you adhered it.
Yep. And then the inside has little flags too. And
I
then
love
she
the
gave
attention
us,
to detail.
yeah, she gave us the papers to finish the inside. I think at the retreat we did paint the boxes and do the, the Mod Podge.
Yes.
So we got that all.
How
done
did you feel about painting at the retreat? I just remember some people saying early on when Blackbird was doing a retreat, they would have them painting all kinds of different things.
Yeah. Painting's not my thing.
Not your thing.
I'm terrible at painting, and I get more on me than on the project. And so I do it because I have to more than anything.
Right.
And then here's the scissor fob that went with that one. I've used that one so much it's frayed on the end, so I gotta replace the little the little hanger part of it.
That's fabulous.
So those were the years that we did Chessie and me. Oh, I have one more. We got this one at one of them, and I didn't make it. It's called Bird and Bee Pin Pillow.
Yeah.
That's cute. And I've got the nice little kit and everything. So I did dig that out while I was looking for all this stuff to show you. So maybe that'll get done someday.
When you were prepping for, I just want to ask you, when you were prepping for this FlossTube, did you find things?
Oh yeah.
That it's like, why haven't I stitched this? Is that one of them?
This next one is one of them. Okay, this was our Stacy Nash year. We did this little Liberty deal. Okay.
Oh my God.
This was in 2016 because that's what the pattern says. And this thing has been sitting around since 2016. And I finally finished. I mean, it took less than an hour to do this. You had to do velvet to line the things and cover cardboard and stick down in this thing and then attach this. But finishing it was no big deal. Isn't it cute?
That is really cute. I love that idea.
And then I'm anxious to set this out now because I can put all my little pillows and things.
Yeah.
So
how did you finish the back of the flag?
It's just fabric. They gave us fabric, and so you just right sides together, sewed them and turned it, and then just stitched a little bit on the edge to hold it down.
A great idea. I have never seen anything like that.
Well, that was the year we had Stacy Nash, and actually there were other things, and I know I stitched these and I can't find them now. We were supposed to do a sewing roll also, and whatever that is, pin pillow, needle book.
Yeah.
And also this little thing with the scissors.
Oh yeah, for putting in your star.
Yeah, and I know I did them and I can't find them. So that's for another day to hunt those down. And let's see, one year, I think the last year I went, they had started transitioning more to the way they're doing the cross stitch retreat now, where it's just cross stitch. They had a little problem filling these retreats with quilters and cross stitchers because you had to want to do both. And, not everybody does both.
Right.
So then I think they decided they'd go more towards cross stitch camp, a retreat. And so that's what they're doing now. So the last one was Blackbird. And we made that whole thing is over 1.
On what size count? Do you remember?
It's pretty small. I'd say 36 or 40.
Wow.
That's in this sewing club book now.
Oh yeah.
So we could see what it's supposed to be on. I'm not crazy about over 1. I like the way it looks, but doing it is a challenge.
Yeah, I feel when I'm doing over 1, I need to really slow down and be patient with myself And when I do that, it's easier than
Oh,
fighting it and saying how much I don't like it.
this says 28 count. So that's not so bad. 28 count over one.
Over one,
Yeah. So
that's still
they gave us the
56
little
count.
box. Yeah, the little matchbook
Oh,
box. So we painted that. I don't know if I painted it there. I think I painted it at home, but I don't remember. And then that year we did Come Into My Garden as well.
oh, wow.
And then I finished that in 2020. Let's see if I can get it without the. This
Yeah.
was so fun to stitch, and this was on felt. I know that because it's got that kind of green cast to the background.
Uh-huh. So pretty.
That was the Blackbird year, which was 2019, and then I finished it during the pandemic. I do have a couple kits yet from those. I know that was a Blackbird kit that we got there.
Have you made it yet?
No. And this one, cute. And they gave us, all this cute fabric too.
Yeah.
I think there was a paper mache box involved in all this somewhere, but I think I got rid of it. I decided I'm never going to paint this thing, but they were always so good at picking,
yeah.
pretty fabrics for the linings and everything. So someday maybe I can get that made.
See, I wasn't back to cross stitch yet then. So I missed out on all of that.
Oh, in 2019, yeah. And that's
I came back right before lockdown. So what is that, 2020?
And that's the last retreat I've gone to at Country Sampler, but we try to go over there once a year and just kind of do our own little retreat, either stay upstairs in their apartment or stay at the Spring Green Motel and just kind of, a friend and I just do our own little mini retreat for ourselves. And that's fun too, because then you can really shop.
Right.
You got the whole store to yourself. So that works out great.
I haven't been there. I heard it's an amazing shop. Just
it is
small if you go during a retreat when there's a lot of people.
Yeah. It's easier to shop when you go not at a retreat. But then, during the retreat, they have a lot of extra things too. They have, trunk shows and lots of extra linen. And so, that's an advantage too. We did make this little pin cushion one year in this. It's just a little English paper piecing.
Wow.
Paula Barnes taught us that.
That's beautiful.
And that's all pretty much handwork. So that's my Country Sampler retreats. So now I want to show you my other retreats.
Okay.
So I went to Amana. I've been to Amana 3 times. Last spring and fall, and then this spring. So this was last spring. And that was Paulette Stewart. This is one of my favorite things ever.
Yes. I love Plum Street Samplers. I love her designs.
I do too. I think it's called American Welcome.
I saw someone on FlossTube this morning stitching that.
Yeah, it's pretty popular now. It's out in as a pattern you can buy now because it's been over a year. And then last fall was Heartstring Samplery, and we made this box. Her husband makes these boxes.
Wow.
And they're laser cut.
Yes.
And they're really pretty ingenious. They open and they only open so far. He's got a little notch cut in there, so they only open, and then they stay. And then she gave us fabric and showed us how to do the lining inside. There were several other pieces that I haven't done. I did this for the top, but we had a strawberry and a band sampler and some other things. My rule about retreats is just get one of the things done. I don't have to get them all done.
Yeah. I don't have any finished yet. I want to work on them. It's always a time.
It's lost my zipper pull. Then Teresa Kogut came to Primitive Gatherings last summer. Well, she came there twice actually. And the first one was this Patriotic one. And I think it's called In God We Trust. And I put that on a board.
Did you do your own cording?
Yes.
I want to learn how to do that. Yeah.
Well, Vanna Pfeiffer you know, her Twisted Stitcher, she has tons of tutorials, and that's where I learned all that stuff.
Well,
And
it
then
looks great.
Teresa also did a little zipper pull for us.
Yeah.
Isn't that cute?
Oh, that's really cute.
And then she's also doing, Teresa, at her retreats, you get three things. You get a cross stitch thing, a punch needle thing, and a wool thing. So I don't have the punch needle done, but I did do the wool thing.
Wow.
So wool applique deal. She's just getting into wool applique, so I think you'll see a lot more of that from her in the future. And then in her fall retreat, now this one isn't done, but it's scarecrows and pumpkins and whatnot. Let's see if I've got the pattern. It's called Octobers.
Oh, wow. So much talent.
Yeah, and then she gave us, it's got a zipper pull too. She likes to do the zipper pulls because that's something you can do at the retreat and finish it, and she tells you how to finish it and brings the stuffing and the little doodad to put on it to make it a zipper pull. So
that's a really good idea.
Then you can get something actually finished. And I
would like to come home with something finished.
Yeah, I don't have the punch needle even traced. So
do you do punch needle?
Yeah. Once in a while. Punch needle is really nice for nights when you can't cross stitch anymore. So you know, when your eyes too tired to cross stitch. And then the last retreat I just went to was Amana, and that's where I hit a deer, and my car is still in Iowa, and you know that one kind of
so recently.
Yeah, in May 1st through the 5th was Amana this year. And I hit a deer on May 1st, the night before it started. We were staying at Homestead, which is about 5 miles from Amana. And we were just coming back from dinner. And, you know, it's Iowa and Wisconsin. They're all the same as far as deer. They're everywhere. And, you know, you just hit them.
Everybody's okay?
Yeah, everybody was okay, but my car was not. And so it's still in Cedar Rapids at the shop. And I'm supposed to get it next week. Maybe.
Oh, so they can repair it.
Yeah, they can repair it. And they've done it. And this is, the repairs have been a total comedy of errors. You know, he's been keeping me updated on what he's doing, you know, and he says, I ordered a fender and they didn't send it. So I ordered it again and they didn't send it. So I ordered it again. And now I've got 3. So I don't know what he does about that. That's not my problem.
Not your problem. Yeah.
So he finally has a fender. And so, well, he's got lots of fenders. I only need the one. And it was just on the right front side of the car. So
okay.
You know, it was the fender and the light and the radiator and that sort of thing. It didn't even do the airbags. So
they didn't deploy.
No, because it was on the corner of the car instead of the center thing. But you know, cars are so complicated anymore. They've got to redo all the cameras and all the safety stuff. So
it's so expensive to repair cars now.
It is, yeah. It was really helpful. Lisa Smith, Kindred Stitcher, was at the retreat, and she's a claims adjuster. So she came and looked at it actually and said, yeah, I don't think they'll total it. And you know, here's what to expect. And that really was helpful to talk to somebody and find out, because I've never done an auto claim like that before. So, you know, I didn't even know who to call or what to do or anything. So that was really helpful. You know, always go to a retreat with a claims adjuster, I guess. That's my mom.
If there's deer around.
That's right. So our retreat then was great fun once I got past the deer trauma. Sampler's Not Forgotten. And it was this peony pocket. It's like a little pocket deal.
Oh,
so that's
so pretty.
It was. I really enjoyed meeting Kimberly Nugent and getting her project. And then this is the back. The back was a lot of work too. It's the band sampler type of thing. And then I added some personalized letters down at the bottom so that it would to remember this by. And then she also had us do a biscornu.
Wow, I love the pink and the green.
Yeah, it's double-sided. That pink, that really bright pink, is called peony. It's weeks. All the threads on these were weeks, and peony and hibiscus are the pinks on that. They were so
And
pretty.
you just went in May and you already have them fully
Well,
finished.
I came back and got COVID, and I had no car. So I just sat at home the whole month of May and made this project. And then we had a little.
You're done with bad things for the year, Kathy.
I am, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the little scissor fob she gave us. She gave us
so
a pair
sweet.
of Saju scissors to go with our little thing, and she gave us a little, floss.
Yeah. Yep.
Thing. So yeah, my May was sitting at home and stitching this because I didn't feel very good. Plus, I couldn't go anywhere. I mean, I could. We have a car, but we have to share. It's hard to share a car. That's a first world problem, I guess. But
I know when you're used to having your own.
Yeah, I'm used to just, okay, I'm gone for the day. See ya. And I don't want to do that now because then my husband's home when it's like, well, I'm not going anywhere, I guess. So
Right. And I like driving my own car.
I do too. I miss my car. I'm anxious to get it back.
Isn't your car new?
Yeah. I just got it last July. But what are you going to do? At least we weren't hurt, and I didn't roll the car or anything. And when I went to get the rental car, I said, yeah, I hit a deer. And she said, oh, you're the third one today. So this is obviously something they deal with a lot there. This area where I was driving through is actually a nature reserve, which I didn't know at the time, but that means the deer are going. It was along a creek. I should have known, I guess, that it would be deer infested.
How would you? Yeah, but
yeah, I mean, I've driven up here since 1991 and I've never hit a deer. So and they're all over up here. Whenever you go anywhere, there are 3 or 4 deer at the side of the road that have been hit by cars, no matter which direction you go.
Yeah.
So it's pretty common. And I think it's getting worse. That I've been reading that there's not as much hunting as there used to be. And so the deer herds are getting more prolific because they're not getting out in the fall. So there's a lot of them.
Interesting.
Yeah. So let's see. What else do you want to see?
What else you got?
I have a bunch of Plum Street. I did live on Little. I didn't go to this retreat, but I did buy the pattern after the retreat was over. So I need to get that framed.
Yes, that is beautiful. That is on my list of things I want to stitch.
I love Plum Street, but I agree. She does make you work. And
she does. Oh,
yeah, this is the day. And I really don't
the colors. I mean, they're just perfect.
Yeah. I usually follow the color guide. I don't change things a whole lot. And I haven't been telling you all the fabrics. A lot of them I don't even know. I usually do 36 count though. If
I was just going to ask you, what's your favorite? 36?
Yeah, I would say this is 36. Yeah.
Now, do you use 1 or 2 strands on 36? One.
I use 2 strands on 32 and 1 on 36.
Oh, that's so pretty.
I prefer to use 1 strand, but that doesn't always work.
Me too.
And then I did Pink House sampler.
Yes.
And I changed that with my grandmother's name. I changed the verse a little bit and then put my grandmother's name and birth date on there.
I love that pattern. You are prolific.
Well, I have been since 2000. That's or 2020 rather.
Yeah.
I mean, I retired I think in 2019. So I've had a lot more time to stitch. And I think you've probably seen this one quite a bit. This is Mary Jane Fry. And this is a free pattern from Amanda somebody. I can't think of it. But if you Google Mary Jane Fry sampler, you'll find it. But that was a free pattern. I wanted to make that because of those animals. I don't know what those animals are exactly. But I thought they were really cool. I just love doing animals. I guess
they have really long tails.
They have really long tails. And maybe they're
short legs and like a camel's hump.
Yeah.
They're not camels.
No, I think they're cats. But I'm not sure. But I like it anyway.
I like it.
The weirder the animal, the better.
I know. I love that.
So let's do some patriotic too while we're at it.
Okay. I'm looking at your quilting and all your cross stitch on the back wall.
We can look at those too.
Okay.
Mary Catherine Harris. A lot of people have done that.
Yeah, but look what you framed her in. So does that swivel?
It does swivel. Okay, so
Yeah.
the deal on this frame, I have to do a little shout out for my friend Gloria from Old Green Cupboard. She used to work at Primitive Gatherings and she moved back to Florida and she had all this stuff from her business that she didn't want to keep hauling back and forth. So she left me like 5 tubs of frames and antique things and trims to use for finishing classes at Primitive Gatherings. So I've done 2 of them and these frames were in there and I keep taking them to these classes and nobody wants them. And so it's like, well, I want them.
Yeah.
I love these. So I did that.
For people who don't know, tell us what Primitive Gatherings is.
Primitive Gatherings is has been known as a quilt store and wool applique store, and they have a big online presence. You can look them up online. So they're known for their wool applique. Lisa Bonjean, who's the owner, kind of got wool applique really going back. I think she's been going for over 20 years probably, and so she was one of the early pioneers of wool applique. So they're really well known for quilting and wool applique, and they've recently gotten into cross stitch as well. And so I'm leading a cross stitch club there, and then I do these finishing classes. So I'm really trying to promote cross stitch there because they're primarily a quilt store, so they're just getting into being known for cross stitch. So we have a club that meets once a month. And anybody can come. It's $25 for the day, and that includes lunch. They have a beautiful retreat center, and that's where we meet. And it can hold, I don't know, probably 100 people. It's big and beautiful. The lighting is perfect. They have a commercial kitchen there where they cook our lunch for us. And so you go, you stitch all day. You go over and eat lunch. You can go over to the store, which is next door, and shop, and it's just a great day out.
It sounds fabulous.
And I lead it, but I mean, I'm there. If people want to do finishing or something, I show them how, but other than that, we just stitch. So
yeah.
It's a fun day.
Is it close to your home?
It's about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's probably a good thing, because if it's closer, I'd be there all the time. They do other things besides cross stitch club. They do sit and stitches, and they do a wool applique club, and then they have retreats there. So there are people there all the time, really doing retreats.
Yeah.
Then this was, who is this? American Farmhouse. This is Scarlet House. Yeah. And I put this in another one of these swing frames. These swing frames are great.
I like them.
I do too. The only thing is when you're doing your framing, you have to be really careful. I have one of those gun things that shoots the little points in, for framing. And these are so old and fragile that they really tend to shatter.
Oh,
with that. So you have to be really careful and, hold it down while you're doing it so it doesn't.
And wear safety glasses.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And they don't shatter so much. They just come apart,
okay.
Come apart because these are old. These are antique frames, but I love them. So that was Scarlet House, American Farmhouse. So now let's talk about, what I do. Okay, this is Patriotic. This was Country Sampler. I have a lot of Country Sampler stuff.
Yeah.
Because we were always there. And this is Star from Summer House Stitchworks. And it may have been changed to Country Sampler colors. I don't know. Looks pretty true to the pattern. But I like this one a lot.
I like that.
It says Spangled Banner down there in the corner too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You have to get close to see that. That's one of my favorites that comes out every year. And I made this during the Queen's Jubilee, and I need to get it finished.
And who's that by?
That is July Basket by Cosford Rise Stitchery. And I think that was a little PDF you could get from them.
Hmm.
So I need to finish that and put it.
How
with
would you
my-
finish that? Would you frame it or make a
I'll make
pillow?
it into a pillow. I
Mhm.
do pillows and I put sawdust in them. I like them with sawdust because they're really firm. And a lot of people don't like doing sawdust because it's so messy. And I have a secret and I'll share it with you. Take press and seal, you know, the Glad press and seal stuff. It's like cling wrap, only it's got the little sticky dots. Cover your piece completely, front and back, with press and seal, and then just cut the slit for putting the sawdust in, and that'll protect your stitchery and keep it clean while you're doing it.
Okay.
Otherwise, the sawdust does kind of get everywhere.
Does the sawdust tend to settle and so the top part of your pillow isn't as full, or are you just filling that so full the sawdust can't settle?
I stuff it full so it can't settle, and that's why I like it better than the walnut shells. Because the walnut shells, in my experience, I've got a pillow here that has walnut shells in it. This one, and
Yeah.
I really like that's. I think that's La-Di-Da, isn't it? A lot of people are doing that right now. I like this pillow, but it's got the walnut shell, so you know when you set it, it kind of sinks in the center.
And you don't get that with the sawdust.
You really don't. I don't know if I've got any here. I don't think I've got any in this pile with sawdust, and that's kind of been a recent thing that I've started doing the sawdust.
Where do you get your sawdust from?
I went to a retreat and a lady there had a woodworker husband, and she brought trash bags full of sawdust and gave them to everybody. So I have a lifetime supply of sawdust from her. And it's really nice sawdust. It's real clean and, you know.
Yeah.
The best way is to find somebody who does woodworking and get them to give you stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
My Memorial Day stitch was this Jessie and Me American Coast.
Oh, I love that.
And that needs to be made into a pillow. When my fabric is too small to fit in my hoop, I just stitch some cotton on the edges to make it bigger. That's what.
So do you always stitch in a hoop?
I do. Yeah.
You do?
Yeah. I stitch in a hoop and I use the sewing method, and that's the only way I really can do it.
Wow.
Because that way I can get it right up here and see what I'm doing.
So is your fabric really tight? And
no, it's really loose. I kind of almost combine quilting and cross stitch because I have my hand underneath like you do when you're quilting, and I go down and hit my finger and then come back up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that works for me.
Yep.
So that was American Coast. So I'm going to have a pillow finishing day one of these days. This is Brenda Gervais.
Oh, that is fabulous.
The timing on this FlossTube was good because I was getting out all my Patriotic stuff, and then I got a little tape to put on the back.
Oh yeah,
that covers my spot on the back.
Is that where you fill?
Yeah, I do. I have a hard time with leaving an opening on the top and slip stitching it shut so that it looks really good.
Yeah. Yeah. And I haven't finished a pillow yet. I'm sure I can do it. I just haven't yet. So I'm curious how people do it.
Yeah, I do it like that and cover it up. If I don't want to cover it up, what I do is I make my back in two pieces, a top and a bottom. I stitch across up so far and reverse stitch there, and then do a basting stitch across where the opening will be, reverse stitch again, and then reduce my stitch again and finish, and then press the whole thing and then take the basting stitch out, and then you've got a really good pressed quarter-inch seam. And that's not my idea. I heard that on another FlossTube, but I've been doing that and it works fantastic. Because the hardest part is once you've got your pillow stuffed, getting that quarter-inch turn so it's straight across and not wavy and everything. So I've been doing that on pillows too, and that works really well. This one is Snippet by Lizzie Kate. That's an oldie. I've had that one forever. This one is Summer Arches.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Bent Creek. This is It has sunflowers on it. I guess I didn't do the sunflowers. I just did more sailboats.
Yeah. That looks great.
This is Liberty by Chessie and Me. And this is another one that has the walnut shells in it. This is a Brenda Gervais, the words.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. More handmade with love.
That looks really good.
One might wonder why I didn't put it the same direction that I put the words. But
I didn't notice it. I did not notice
until
it.
now. And I think this is Scarlet House. This is coverlet
I think
sampler.
it is. I love that pattern.
I do too.
Yeah.
I've always loved that one.
I like that you made it into a pillow.
Yeah, and it's got the lady dot trim on the edge.
Uh-huh.
I think that may have been a country sampler kit. This fabric looks like something they would use, and
it's perfect.
I just love their choices of fabrics. You know, it always goes so well with the project. Let's see, what else have I done? I made Bobbin, the mouse, that Stacy Nash thing.
I want to do that. It's so cute.
This was the first time I've ever made an animal shape.
Yeah.
But it was very easy.
Was it?
He was an easy finish. Her instructions were really good for that.
Oh,
you
he's
basically
so cute.
cut it out 1/4 inch and you know, sew it to the back. That's all.
Yeah.
And this one I found when I was looking. This is also Stacy Nash. And I don't know the name of this, but it goes really well with all my horses and my Chessie and Me stuff.
It does. So do you have that out all year, or is that more of a seasonal?
It kind of floats around, in and out.
Yeah.
This one I have on my bedroom wall. This is Blackbird, called Remember Me. I've had this one for years. This one was framed at Ben Franklin. My Ben Franklin, though, quit doing the framing. So now I've got to find another framer.
I know, that's always the thing. It's like, who do you want to hand over your stitching to?
She did a really great job, and she was very reasonable. And I you know, I'd been there so much, I knew the lady, and so you know, it was easy to work with her. And then they decided they would discontinue their framing. It's like, really? But what are you gonna do? This is one of my favorites. This was I don't know if you watched Mama Loves You GB.
Yes.
But she had an unfinished sampler series, and so she gave us this sampler, and it just had the alphabet and then a couple little symbols down here, and then you finished it however you wanted to. And so I got a lot of motifs from the Brenda Keyes book.
Yes. Yeah.
Brenda Keyes motif book. So I put the little church, because that's kind of like the church we went to as a kid, and I put a black and white dog, because I always had black and white dogs, and a yellow and white cat, and that sort of thing. So it's all just things from my life, I guess, that
are meaningful to you.
Yeah, but that was really fun. I thought she was going to do several of these unfinished ones. I hope she does another one, because that, you know, I'm not really a designer, but it was kind of fun to you know, just to get those motifs and do that.
Yeah, you have to plan the layout, and are they going to fit? And
yeah,
do they go together?
Just do it on graph paper, and you know.
Did you select the colors?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What I did was I just did a big piece of graph paper, and then I photocopied the little motifs from the book, and then just laid them around on the graph paper until I got, you know, something that worked, and then I just taped them down and used that as my pattern. Yeah.
Makes sense.
So this one is
wow.
This is a Primitive Gather. It's actually Count Your Stitches is the designer. And Primitive Gatherings a couple years ago did a fundraiser for Hogs for Heroes, and we all made quilts with this design, and then they also did the cross stitch that matches. So I've got a quilt that looks like this. It's basically just a flag, and the star part of the flag is different on every one. Yeah, that's really pretty. So that goes in my Patriotic room as well. These are things that I finished last time we had a finishing class. This is Quaker-esque. I've never seen that. It's
Wow.
This thing is heavy. I bought this box years ago at Welcome Stitchery when I was still in Chicago. Blue Ribbon Designs.
Okay.
See it again?
Please. I know. Oh, that is amazing.
Yeah, that was fun to do. And then I needed a square thing. This box is one of these. I don't know who makes them, but
Oh, it's in a box.
yeah, it's
I
a
thought
box.
it was just
It's a
okay.
box that you're supposed to put your floss bobbins in, but now I don't do floss bobbins anymore. I do drops. So this is a box for something else now.
That's
But it's a really
fabulous.
nice box. I don't know. I took it to Cross Stitch Club, and somebody who's a big cross stitcher knew exactly. Oh, she said, "Oh, that's a such and so box." And it's like, yeah, I guess so.
I wonder if they're still available.
Probably at cross stitch stores.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't been bobbinating my threads either. I've been,
Yeah.
I mean, I have 3 boxes of bobbinated DMC, but now I'm using the thread drops, and I love it when people are trading floss cards at retreats.
Yeah, I do too.
I love that.
I've been as I do new projects, I unbobinate and put it on floss drops because I really just prefer using that so much more.
So much easier.
It really is. You don't have to unwind, take a strand, and then rewind. So it just saves so much time.
Yeah.
I made Tiny Town.
Oh.
That's hands-on design. Oh no, Heart and Hand is Tiny Towns.
Yeah.
And I just put that on one of Gloria's boards that she left me. She left me all kinds of great
She left
stuff.
you all kinds of good stuff.
She did. This was just a treasure trove of stuff. And I've really found I enjoy going to thrift stores and just finding stuff that you can use, to put stuff. This was one of them. This was a cigar box that I found at a thrift store. And I put, that's Brenda Gervais. I believe it's Indigo Lane or something like that.
I love the cording and the fabric that you used with
Yeah, I
that.
got that.
It pops right off.
Yeah, you can do a lot with doing the fabric background, because then you can make it fit whatever your thing is.
Yeah.
This has got to be a certain size, but your back piece can be any size really. And that's something we do in the finishing classes. We just finish. I bring all the stuff, all the glue and the nails and the mat board and foam core and everything, and it's all just out. So we get a lot done in those weekends because everything is there and easy to access.
I need to come to one of your classes.
Yeah. Well, it is fun.
I need to learn to finish.
Everybody who comes, they bring a stack like this of, here's all the things I've made in the last 30 years and I need to finish them. And then we figure out what they'll fit on or in, or how we can do it. And everybody is usually really creative, so people think of different things that I wouldn't think of.
Yeah, but I bet when you're out shopping and going to thrift stores, you're looking at things differently because you're a finisher.
This has become a bad hobby also, because now I've got all these boxes of stuff in the basement that it's like, well, this is for my finishing class, but it's like, well, how many of these am I really going to use?
But
you need options. You never know what's going to fit where.
That's right. You need options. Yes.
So I did finish this too. This is from our Sampler Symposium.
Oh, Susan Stanley and I want to work on that so badly. We keep talking about we're going to start it. We haven't yet.
That may be about the only thing that I'll get finished before I go to summer school, but that's okay. I got one done, so my rule has been observed.
And that
this was
why can't I think of
Mary
her name?
Cox.
Thank you. I see her. Yes.
And then she gave us these cherry boxes too. And there's a whole bunch of stuff, if you remember, that goes in here. There's needle fobs and scissor fobs and needle cases and all kinds of doodads. So we'll see how that goes.
I love her kits.
This was really my first time of doing the 103s, the silks.
And how did you like them?
I like it. I liked it a lot. And I'm doing one of the others I'll show you here in a bit.
Is that on 46 count, Kathy?
This was a reasonable count. I think 36 maybe. I was going to show you. Okay, there it is.
Got a nice big cutting table behind you.
I do.
Yeah.
When I went when my older son moved out to an apartment, I turned his room into my sewing room. And I went to a store and I said, I want to buy a kitchen island for cutting. And the lady said, well, a kitchen island is just cabinets back to back. I was like, really? Okay, then. So then I just went and bought some cabinets, put them back to back, some base cabinets, two sets, put them back to back. And then I had a Formica top cut to the size I wanted. So it's perfect.
Perfect. And you decide on the size.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've been working on Ann Morgan's, and that's another one from Sampler Symposium. And this was also 103s. This is on 46 count. Yeah. And that's kind of the top edge of my ability, I've decided. I did buy some 56 while we were there, and I've been trying.
Did Jean talk you into the 56?
She did. Well, she doesn't have to talk very hard because you see all this neat stuff, and it's like, yeah, I want to try this.
Yeah.
I did buy some better magnifiers, so I'm hopeful that maybe I can see to do it. I mean, it's all a vision thing, you know. It's not a. I mean, it's the same skills as far as stitching. It's just whether you can see the squares or not.
Exactly. When I stitch on 56 count, I have to do it in small time frames because my eyes get tired very quickly.
Yeah, I could see that. Although somebody said on their FlossTube that it's better once you start on 56, continue on it because your eyes get used to that size. And then, you know, you're not trying to switch back and forth. And I have kind of found that when I work on that 46 count piece, I'm better off just doing that all day on that piece and not trying to switch back to something else.
Yeah, yeah.
So my next things are something I kind of bit off more than I can chew, but I'm going to make it work. It's this Fabulous Houses series from Cottage Garden Samplings.
Love their designs.
And I do too. Yeah. But they are like Paulette Stewart. They're a whole lot of work. And I talked Primitive Gatherings into doing this as a block a month. So now I feel like I should make the models, right? so every month I have to make one of these houses. And they're a lot. So
that's a lot of solid stitching.
It is, but they're so pretty.
They are.
This is Santa's house.
Yeah.
And some of the people in the Cross Stitch Club are doing them all on one piece of fabric, which you can do because they're all the same size. They're all roughly 8 by 8 if you do it on probably 32 count. Mine are a little bit less than 8 by 8. I'm doing it on 36. Mm-hmm. And our challenge on these has been finding a gray where you can see the white, but it's not so dark that the house is a problem. I've been using a lot of Mirage, and I make a little covered button every month with the animal that's on it. Every month has some kind of an animal too. So I've been making a little covered button, so I'll have some ornaments.
How many in that series?
12. It's one a month. So this one is the castle. That was February.
These are fabulous.
Yeah, these are fun, and I haven't seen these around a lot before. Well, Primitive Gathering still has the block a month if people want it. It's just the pattern and the called for floss, and then you can buy whatever fabric you want. Some people wanted to do one big piece and some, separate. So we decided it'd be better just to do the pattern and floss, and then let people do whatever. But that's the cat. You got a little unicorn. We doing okay on time?
We are. I had a pop-up window come up and I just wanted to make sure it wasn't in our recording. So you're doing one a month.
I am. And so this is like 2 solid weeks of my month.
I was going to ask you, that's a lot of stitching.
The lady who designed these, she's in Kuala Lumpur, and she was in the hospital recently. So she got a little behind on distributing these. which gave me a chance to catch up. So I feel bad for her, but it worked out for me. Then this one is the greenhouse. And I put this one, I found a thrift store book that about greenhouses and stuff, and water fountains and things like that. So I put that on a book. I'm trying to kind of do some different finishing things. And then
Yes.
then the little covered button is the cat.
Oh my God, that's so cute. And you know what that reminds me of? The greenhouse in The Sound of Music.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
Oh,
This
so
is
pretty.
on Mirage. That's the name of Mirage by Picture This Plus.
Okay.
And then the fourth one is Cottage. That's the Cottage. And I don't think I did covered buttons. I best do that. Oh, I did. I just haven't finished them. I did those doves as covered buttons.
Yeah. What
As
linen
one-
is that? That is fabulous.
That is also Mirage. And then I'm currently working on,
So did you start this in January?
I did. Okay, where'd my Hobbit house go? Oh, here's the Hobbit house. He's not framed yet. Here's the Hobbit house.
Oh my gosh.
And I did the pig for the covered button for him. So he needs a frame. And then this month is Treehouse. So
Those are fabulous. Now I want to stitch those.
They are. They're Fabulous Houses is the name of the series. Isn't that cute?
Yes.
She does so much detail. I mean, these have got several little animals in them, and she does a lot of like little quilting detail in the houses.
Yeah.
I don't know, you can
Can you show that again? I just saw that. Yes.
Like, see, look in the Santa house. There's all kinds of little designs kind of to make it look like a gingerbread house. Which one were we looking at?
The last one when you're working on. Yes, I see it now in the house.
Yeah. So they really are fun. Mostly, we've been using the called for colors. It's mostly DMC, and then usually she has a couple classic color works too.
Yeah.
And so that's what's in the kits. So that's been my big thing this year, is getting these houses done and staying current on my house efforts.
So when do you plan out your month for stitching? You've got the houses. No,
I'm very much a squirrel stitcher. You know, it's like I'll do something, and then I tried that heifer board and all that this year, and I did it for like a week, and then the whole system fell apart. So
you like to stitch what you want when you want.
Kind of whatever I feel like that day. You know, and the houses I've been focusing on because I want to get them done and get them to the store so they can put them out for models. But other than that, you know, once the house is done for the month, then I do whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that brings me to the other things. Works in progress. I'm not going to show you all my works in progress, because we would be here forever. But Summer Moon, that's
so many people are stitching this one. I just love it.
Yeah, that's the one I've been kind of taking to retreats for, you know, for when you're stitching before they give you the project, because it's really easy to count.
And there's lots of solid stitching.
A lot of solid stitching.
Yeah.
I'm having an earthquake with my houses here. Hang on.
Like, wait a minute. You don't have earthquakes there.
The other big one I'm doing is His Eyes on the Sparrow. Oh. And I started that in January. You see that?
You just started that in January?
I did. My goal was one motif a day. And I'm pretty much caught up. And I count a motif as an animal or one little section of the border.
Yep. Yep.
But now I watched Comfort Stitching. Did you?
So
now I've got to consider the lilies to match this. And she had such great ideas on, I don't change things a lot. I'm not very brave about that, but I think I need to, because the animals and things she did were so great.
And did she bring that to Sampler Symposium?
I don't remember it, but
I don't either. And I would love to.
I know there was at least one of these, because I looked at it, and they had changed the house color. And so I decided I wanted to change the house color. In the
Yeah.
pattern, it's kind of tan. And so I changed it to that blue. I like that blue a lot.
I like that blue as well. Are you doing that on 36 with one
Yes.
strand?
This is 36 count fiber on a whim latte. And I put the date
Perfect.
on, so I'm committed.
Now you have to finish
This
it.
has to be finished in 2024. I think it will be.
So you work on that every day?
No, I usually just like once a week catch up.
Yeah.
And it's in my crabby lady bag.
Oh,
Isn't she
I
great?
love that bag. Did you make that bag?
I did. This is Alexander Henry fabric. It's called the Ghastlies. And they make this fabric every year that has these kind of Halloween type people doing things. And one year it was crafting, and I just love her.
I love
She makes me
that.
smile every time. Okay, so that's what else I'm doing. Oh, I got one more. Well, I got my cross stitch club doing stitch alongs, you know,
Yeah.
and I got them all doing them, and then I kind of haven't been. So they're all keeping up and I'm not.
On the stitch alongs, yeah, I'm not good at that.
This is Prairie Schooler, and I don't have the pattern with me, but they're little each month little things that go with the month. So I started with Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And I'm making them all, I'm putting the magnets on them so that they'll all fit on this one green block.
That's
so you can
fabulous.
cut them out. So I'm behind on this. So I got to get back to that once I get my house done for the month.
So what are your plans for the rest of the year?
Houses, for one thing. Houses, I want to finish my His Eyes on the Sparrow.
Yeah.
And then I think I'm going to start, I was just looking at all my pile of things to start. I think I bought those Kathy Barrick animals that she came out with at Market. There's a couple of them.
Yes.
I'd like to start one of those, or Mini Mansions by Annie Dees. I got that one. Or I'll start Consider the Lilies. And I've already got the fabric. So, you know, I have a feeling that'll be, you know.
After His Eyes on the Sparrow.
Yeah. But then I'm going to go to summer school. So, you know.
You're going to get more kits.
Yeah, exactly. So if I just keep up with the houses and my stitch alongs, I'll be doing good. And then I've got the fabric for Nicola's little, I don't want to show the pattern, but you know, her learning thing, doing this learning sampler. So I got a piece of fabric left over from something, and I think I'll get that started. And I'm going to try to just use up, these are all my leftover Chessie and Me kits, and a lot of them are silks. And so I think I'll try to use up some of those silks on this, because this one we can pick our own fabric colors. So I do want to do that. Nicola is so generous to do those. I mean, they're so detailed, and you can really learn a lot.
Yeah, I recently went to the Queen City Sampler Guild retreat with Nicola teaching specialty stitches. It was fabulous.
I bet.
She does such a great job teaching the stitches. You know, at first you're intimidated, at least I was intimidated looking at the stitches, and then you just follow along. And we did queen stitch and rice stitch, and
and really they're not that hard if you have somebody really show you how to do them.
Right. But yet I'm intimidated by them.
Yeah, I still am too, even after all these years of Chessie and Me. I mean, she was very good about showing us those things too, but yeah, I'm a little intimidated by them. The other thing I've been doing, this is not counted cross stitch, but it's still embroidery, are these. This is a stitch book. It's from Under the Garden Moon. And every month you get a page of this book and the threads. And then she has videos of all the different stitches, probably like a 15-minute video. Let me just open this and I'll show you. This is how it comes. You get you get all the different threads.
Yeah.
And she really gives you a variety of different silks and cottons and all kinds of things. And then you get the page of the book, and it's got all the stitches and dots. So you really can't go wrong because you're just doing it, you know, straight on the lines. And her videos are very good. They really tell you exactly what to do. So you can see, you know,
Wow.
you're learning all kinds of things. I saw this at a retreat last year. The ladies had their finished books. So when you're all done, then you put these pages together and make a book out of it. So you've got a book of all the embroidery stitches, you know.
And who puts that out?
Under the Garden Moon. She's
Under the Garden Moon.
Yeah, she's in Utah. I think, is that the cover? No, that's not the cover. I do have the cover done.
That is a fabulous idea.
Yeah, this is a really good program, I think. I've really enjoyed it. So that'll be the cover. So the pages fit together like that. So when we're all done, they'll fit together that way. But you know, if you want to learn embroidery, I think this is a great way to do it, because she gives you everything. You've got a lot of detail in the videos, and you know, you can go back and refer to them, I assume, forever. She gives you a password so that you can watch the videos.
Yeah.
And so that is one thing. I'm behind a few months on that, but I'll catch up. It doesn't take too long to do each page. Once you sit down and do it, it probably 2 or 3 hours per page.
Yeah.
But I've learned a lot, and I've taken several embroidery classes before, but I'm still learning, you know, several new stitches from her. So that's good.
That is good.
Yeah. So that's Under the Garden Moon, if anybody wants to do it. The other thing I like to do, I'm such a sucker for vintage embroidery. So if I see it at an antique store or something, I have to buy it and then do something with it. Because I can't stand the fact that somebody's grandma did all this work on a feed sack. This one's a feed sack, you can still tell.
Wow.
See the writing a little bit on it. And so then I need to make it into something. So I made a project roll out of it. Project rolls, if you can quilt, project rolls are really easy, because you just make, there's all kinds of goodies in here too. You just make a quilt this big, you know, however big you want it, and then roll this end over a pool noodle, stitch it down, and then I made ends to cover up the end of the pool noodle, and that's it. Then you've got a project roll. So
I have a couple of project rolls and I love them.
Yeah. So saving vintage things is, I made a little book cover with one. So that's kind of my thing at the moment, is doing things with these vintage linens.
What about you? The first one you did with the butterflies, I
got to cut it up to do it. But you know, I think I may, because after my mom passed away, I went through her cedar chest and everything, and there's all these vintage things in there. There were pillowcases from my grandparents' 50th anniversary. So it was gifts to them for their 50th anniversary, which was in 1968. Okay, these things have been sitting in a cedar chest now for what, 56 years? So I should
as well use them.
Make them into a project bag or something that I'll see and use. So I haven't gotten brave enough to cut into any of my family heirlooms yet. I've just done the things I bought because I don't have an emotional connection to them. But I'm going to work up to doing things with my family. I need ideas of what I can make. I mean, I can make I don't need another, well, I probably do need another project roller too, but not too many. And then project bags. What else can I make that's useful? Okay, so people can tell me in the comments if you've got an idea. Well, I could make just like pouches, you know, like any shape of pouch. I don't know. We'll see. I'll figure out something. And then the other things I'm doing for the year are I'm doing this fresh cut garden. You can kind of see that. That's in the background back there, over there.
Yes.
And that's a block a month. That's wool applique block a month from Primitive Gatherings. It's in their wool box. So we get one of these every other month.
And
so
then, sorry, I don't know. Do you make it into a quilt?
Yeah. Once it's
You
done,
do-
then it'll be well, more like a wall hanging. I think it's going to be maybe 60 by 60 when it's done.
Yeah.
So it's not really a bed quilt, but then, you know, these things are so much work. You're not going to put
You don't
them
want
on
to put it on the bed.
let the dog get on it.
Oh,
and all.
those are beautiful.
And then the other thing, where did I put it? Oh, I've gotten into Sue Spargo stuff, and I don't know if you know who she is.
I do.
She does wool applique. And I've done several of her things. I took a couple classes from her last year. I was able to get into retreats, which is really hard to do. And she sells out immediately wherever she goes.
Yeah.
And I was lucky and got into a couple. And so I've made a couple projects, but she doesn't let you show them until she's printed the pattern. She doesn't let you show them on social media because somebody could steal her pattern and publish it. And I think she's had a problem or something in the past.
Oh,
but this one, I think I can show you.
Wow.
It was a retreat, and it's her pattern for the indigo vases, but we decided what to put in all the pots. And I really enjoy this because we did all these different techniques of with velvet and silk, and we made, I don't know if you can see, that is a Yorkshire button.
Yeah.
And that's a Dorset button. So
you are so talented.
Oh, thanks.
I am so impressed.
She's a really excellent teacher. If you are interested at all in any of her stuff, definitely take one of her workshops because she really teaches you a lot. I learned a lot in her classes.
I am so impressed.
We made those little wool flowers in the bottom.
Yes.
We made a ton of different things. She really teaches you a lot of different things, a lot of different stitches, all these little picot stitches on the vases. So that is something I do also.
That is gorgeous.
That is it.
So how many hours a day do you spend stitching?
Quite a few.
Yeah. That's what I plan on in retirement.
Kind of my thing. Yeah, being retired is great. I can't. The only thing is I'm doing so much more cross stitching and wool applique now. I haven't been quilting at all hardly. And I really need to get back to it. I have a long arm, and so I need to really get back to it and do that. So we'll see. Yeah. But do you want to see anything on the wall?
Yes, absolutely. I was going to ask you, do you quilt for other people or just yourself?
No, I don't. Okay, this one is Finascal's Hall or something like that. This was a country sampler pattern that they did. And I love this one. This is one of my favorites too because of that grass.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. I love that grass.
It was
oftentimes we're stitching this solid grass that seems to never end.
It was really fun to stitch, but I had to make a copy and color on it because you've only got two colors of green. It's grasshopper and Oscar, I think. And so you got to keep track to get the pattern. Yeah. So, and then I changed that. It has words on here and you could change it. So I put it's kind of an anniversary sampler. I put our names and our wedding date, and then I put initials, our parents' initials and our kids' initials in there.
That's really nice.
So
that frame is perfect.
Everything's going to be all crooked now. If
I know you're gonna be.
That's okay. Every time
cursing my name.
This is Barbara Anna.
Yes.
A lot of people have done this one. I can't even think of the name.
Yeah.
But it's several people have done.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
Exactly.
I love looking at this one and all the vignettes and the detail.
Yeah. And this is another one that if you wanted to, you could really change it and personalize it with all the different animals.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
You're
We're not even gonna try. This was
oh,
EF 1864, and that was in that samplers and antique needlework. A lot of these I did during lockdown when we were home all the time.
yeah.
See, I finished this one April 2021.
Is that a French sampler?
I would guess
Yeah.
it's in that sampler and antique needlework.
Okay.
That CD that you buy,
I
that
have
has
it.
all the, yep. So that's where that one was from.
Were you referencing that a lot during lockdown?
Some. I haven't really done as much out of that book as I would like.
Yeah.
You gotta have time. This is Sarah Casey Unwin. This is a Chessie and Me. It was a stitch along at Country Sampler several years ago. This was before lockdown, I'm pretty sure. And this one, I'm so irritated. See that house, the chimneys? The chimneys are all supposed to be the same height. And I got it back from the framer and went, but you know what? It's just fine.
Don't you love when that happens? I got one back and there's clearly an extra stitch. And there's also a place where one of my stitches is coming out. And I'm like, how did I not notice that?
It's going to take all these off the wall and bring them over.
Okay.
Then maybe we'll hang them up different when they're.
I know you're going to have to refer back to this video to remember how the order, oh my gosh, in which you had them framed. Thank you for doing that.
But you need to see them up close.
Yeah.
Barely move in this room with all this stuff around here. This is Stacy Nash, and I think it's called Cherry Hill Orchard or something like that.
Yeah, I love that border and the house.
I'm thinking this was probably also the Grand Old Flag retreat kit. I'm thinking the year we did the Liberty thing, we probably also did this, but I may have bought it separate. I don't really remember. There's that. This is Brenda Gervais. What's it? Needleworkers poem or something like that. It says all my scattering moments are taking up with my needle.
Yes. Oh, that's such a pretty sampler. Look at that house.
Yeah.
The porch.
I don't put glass in mine. If I frame them myself, I don't put glass in. And I really like them better without glass because then you can really see what you got.
Yeah.
This is Agnes' husband. This is a Hands Across the Sea. And I did this because this town she's in, Wigton, I've traced some ancestors back to there. So maybe I'm related to Agnes. You never know.
You could be.
The name is not familiar, but the town was. That's another thing I'd like to do some genealogy, but that's a huge rabbit hole, just like cross stitch.
Oh yeah, it's going to cut into your stitching time big time.
Exactly. So it hasn't happened yet. This is Little House Needleworks, I believe.
Oh, so beautiful.
This is an oldie. This was in 91. So I don't know. I'm guessing that was probably out of cross stitch and country crafts back in the day. And I want you to view the beautiful framing job that I did on this. I didn't know how to do it back then. So
I know, but that's part of your history.
I guess
Look at the colors on that project.
Yeah. I mean, they're very, very dated because of the blue and the rose, but they're still pretty. This frame costs $17.99, so that tells you a lot, right?
Yeah, and it's oak. I know things that I stitched early on, they're all framed in oak.
Yep. And then this is Peace Rabbit. And I think that's La Di Da.
Yeah.
Made that a few years ago. That was also framed at Ben Franklin. And then this is Nativity by Cressetta Gogo.
Isn't that pretty?
This was fun. It has a lot of metallic thread.
Does it?
Yeah.
Our favorite.
not crazy about working with it, but
No.
I really like the effect.
Yes.
And you really needed it for this. They got the little crowns or the
Yeah.
halos out of the metallic.
I love that you have that up all year.
Yeah. I don't actually. I brought it in here because I had to take come into my garden fits in that spot back there.
So who's your favorite designer?
I
Do you
don't
have
know.
one?
Not really. I like Tessie and Me because I've done her a lot, and I like all her patriotic things, and I like the little specialty stitches, enough, but it's not too much. I like Hands Across the Sea and Teresa Kogut's patterns because the symbols are big and they're in color and they're so easy to use. So I really enjoy stitching them because I can really see the pattern.
It makes a huge difference. It's always amazing to me if there's the same symbol, one like a plus sign, one is bigger and bolded and the other one is less than. And it's sometimes hard to tell when you're looking at a pattern. Is that this plus sign or that plus sign?
Yeah.
So I appreciate a good pattern.
One I just did was in black and white, and there was solid black circles and solid black hearts. And that was so difficult for me to tell which is which.
Yes.
And I like Plum Street for all the houses and just all her stuff. I like everything she does. I don't think there is one of hers that I would not do. So I guess those are probably my favorite designers, but I like everybody. I mean, Blackbird is fun. Brenda Gervais is fun. So
it's hard to pick one.
It really is.
It really is. Yeah.
Mary Cox, I enjoyed learning how to do all the little finishing doodads and everything. So those are fun. I like doing the little too.
Yeah. So you're going to summer school. I'll see you there.
I am. Yeah. I'll see you there.
Good. So any other retreats this year that you've got scheduled?
I'm doing Chessie and Me next week. She's at Primitive Gatherings, and actually there's still openings there. If we get this up this week and people want to come, they still could. It's Friday and Saturday. And I know
I'm gonna get it up this video up this weekend.
Okay. Yeah. I know that there's some retreat or there's some openings yet. And so I'm going to Chessie and Me this week. And then summer school in August. And then Teresa Kogut, it will be back at Primitive Gatherings in October. And I'll go to that one again.
Very good.
So I've still got 3 yet this year.
Yeah.
And then next year I'm signed up for the thing in England.
You're going to Swindon in October of 25?
Yeah.
Oh, fabulous.
So I'm excited about that. So I probably won't do as many retreats otherwise next year. Although I say that every year. And, after lockdown, it was just like, if anybody says, let's go to a retreat, I'm just going to go because you never know when that's going to stop again or you can't or whatever.
Right.
So,
and I just
if
love.
If anybody invites me to anything, I'll go. So there you go.
I know if I can do it and work it with my work schedule, I'm saying yes more and more. And I'm so glad that I did because I've just met so many wonderful people.
I have too. I feel like I've got a stitching community now, and I have a friend that we Zoomed called all during lockdown, and that's so nice to just stitch with a friend, even if it's online.
Yeah.
So,
and you think about early on, it was so solitary. When I started stitching, it was a neighbor that taught me, but once we moved on, because both of our husbands were in the Navy, it's something I just did by myself for years and years. And to come back to cross stitch, and now there's this whole community and retreats. It's such a great hobby.
And I've made good friends with my the cross stitch group at Primitive Gatherings, and so that's fun, because I see them every month, and some of them have floss tubes. The Pink Stitchers are in that group, and Denise from Dot Goose and Julian Stitches all come to that group. So I see them once a month, plus then I see them when they do their floss tube. So that's a good way to keep a connection.
Yeah, it's a great community.
It is.
I just want to thank you so much for coming on my channel, being a FlossTuber for a day.
I have one other thing.
Okay.
This is not something I have done. This is something I gotta do. These amigurumi animals.
Yes.
I need to do this, and I don't know why. I don't have any children in my life to give them to, but you know, I need to learn to do this. So I got a couple books, but I don't know anything about yarn. So if anybody wants to put in the comments what I need to buy, where I need to buy it, that would be great. Because I'm sure somebody in this community does this kind of stuff.
Oh,
These are
yeah.
just too cute. I got 2 books. And so
Oh my God.
I think, look at
They
them.
are so cute.
Yeah. And I do know how to crochet.
Let me see the lamb on the back of that book again. Is that a lamb?
Yeah, he's got a little hat or something.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this will be another obsession, I'm sure. And I do know how to crochet, but not well. But I think these are very basic crochet stitches from what I looked through in the book. It's basically single crochet mostly.
Yeah.
And so I think I can figure it out with the book and with all the YouTube things. But I don't know what to buy for yarn. It says cotton yarn, and I don't know much about yarn. So somebody tell me where to go.
Comment.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We have destroyed your craft room.
That's okay. Actually, this has been good because I took all of the stuff out. And so everything's nice and clean now. And so I need to be very judicious about what I allow back in. And maybe I can keep it cleaner. It really is so much more relaxing when it's not cluttered. Right. I went to a friend's house one day and she's very organized and all her stuff was put away. And, you know, I thought this room would be so much more relaxing to stitch in than mine with all the piles and stuff sliding everywhere. So you've inspired me to kind of, now that I've cleaned it, it's clean and I'm gonna.
Now you just have to put everything back.
Pitching and tossing is not my best thing.
No,
I'm
me
kind
either.
of a hoarder, I think, when it comes to craft stuff. So what are you gonna do?
It's true. It's like we spend so much time in our craft room. Why aren't we? I don't like walking in and going, oh, this is a mess. I forget it.
Yeah, exactly. You just kind of
also work in this room. When I'm working from home, this is where I'm working. So I spend a lot of time in here, and I probably would enjoy it a lot more if it was more tidy.
Right. I need to get into a deal where I just half hour a day or something cleaning, you know, sorting and organizing and getting rid of. But that's where the problem comes in. I can sort and organize, but the getting rid of is a real problem. See, that grandma I spent so much time with, she was a Depression era mom. And so I think I picked everything. Up you can't get rid of stuff because you might use it someday.
That's right.
Oh,
that's right.
So that's my challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. And plus cleaning up and tidying up cuts into your stitching time.
It does.
And my stitching time is so limited right now that I choose stitching over tidying up.
Yeah, so do I. And it shows. Okay, well, thanks for doing this. I've always kind of been interested in doing a FlossTube, but I don't think it's something I want to do every week or every other week. It's a lot of work, really, to get all your stuff organized and everything. It
really is. And coming up with content, if you're going to do it, I don't.
Yeah, you got 30
any
years
schedule because I just don't want that pressure of having to come up with content. But it's work. But I am so thankful for FlossTube and all the people that
I am too. I watch FlossTube pretty much the whole time I'm stitching.
Me too. Me too.
You know, I really appreciate the fact that a lot of people do it and take the time to do it and show their projects. Hurts the wallet a little bit, but
I know.
That's okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm
okay. Well, thank you.
Thrilled that you took the time to show us all of your beautiful work. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching all of it. And I'll see you at summer school, I guess.
You will see me at summer school. Okay. I'm going to stop recording. Don't hang up yet.
Okay.
So everyone at FlossTube, thank you so much for watching. And again, Kathy, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Take care.